I think you'll like this trip because the guy who started this, named Bob Taylor, he was just a kid in San Diego himself, and he started in a garage making a guitar. And from that one guitar in that garage that cost him like 40 bucks to make from Home Depot, he now has like a multi-billion, gazillion, trillion dollar empire here. I mean, there's guitar players all over the world that plays guitars now, and he's been doing it for several years. So there's one of the guitars right now, and so you're gonna get a tour of a pretty cool place, and hopefully this will inspire you to maybe have like a dream yourself, because it was literally just a dream for this guy named Bob, and now we're here to check it out. And this is Bob Taylor. So
hi everybody. Thanks for coming out. Did you enjoy seeing how guitars are made?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. You never really think about it, huh? You sort of see guitars and then you're like, wow, they have to make them somewhere, you know. So it's kind of fun. How many play guitar? Does anyone here play guitar?
Hey guys, listen up.
I got my first guitar when I was in third grade, and it was just a little guitar I bought for $3 from a friend, and I played it, but I got interested in how it was made, and so one day I took my dad's saw and I sawed the body off the neck, and I went down to the boys club, and I wanted to make an electric guitar like this out of it, you know, and I worked on it and never really finished it. I was a little bit too young for that to happen. And then by the time I was in high school, I was taking a lot of shop classes, and I wanted to buy a guitar, but I didn't have any money to buy one, so I decided I would make a guitar in wood shop. So I did, and like partway through that first guitar, I just fell in love with doing it. So if there's something you're doing right now that you really love to do, if it's art or music or math or reading or writing or anything, just do it. Just do it all the time. Don't ever quit doing it, and you can maybe turn it into the love of your life, which is what happened to me. When Kurt and I came together, Kurt was a lot more interested in like the business side of a business. We were really young. I was only 19 when we started our company. He was 21. And I was more of a guitar maker, and his last name is Listug. It's not really going to work. So we named him after me because they were all my designs. It was really easy what to call them. And then we've been partners ever since for 35.5 years now. There was this movie about Neil Young called Rust Never Sleeps, and they showed it. It was one of his concerts, and they showed it in the theaters, right? So it was like just a movie of a concert. And I went down, and there was this big theater down in Mission Valley called the Cinerama, and it was huge, giant screen. And I went down there, and he was playing one of my guitars through like the whole movie. And it was like, whoa, man, that's awesome. Like my big hero playing a guitar when I'm 21, so that was neat. I made my first guitar, and when I was all done with it, I had to start all over and make another one. And the next one was just as hard to make as the first one. I didn't really, it was almost like paying rent. You know, a lot of people say you pay rent for a year and you don't have anything, but if you bought a house, you actually have paid for that house a little bit, and you're closer to owning it. So the next guitar I made, I determined that if I spent an hour working on a guitar, I would also spend an hour working on some kind of tool. So then every guitar I made, I would spend an equal amount of time working on some kind of fixture or tool or idea or template or something to help make the next guitar go easier. And I would do it on the next guitar, and we still do it today. Every day we have a big giant, we have a whole building over there. All it does is make tools. You know, there's machines and stuff in it. So I developed that idea from the very first. So if you're going to do something, you want to try and think of how can you get ahead. You know, because you don't want to just do something over and over and over and over and over again. You want to think of how can you build some equity and get ahead in what you're doing. We have maybe 20 people over in the building, and we're working on designing guitars all the time. And then every time we design a guitar on purpose, we stretch and make a new method of making it. We try out something new. So maybe 90% of what we do will be just like, we can do that with our hands tied behind our back. It's just a new guitar. But then we'll pick a portion of it that we push the envelope on. And that little 10% will be more work than the other part. But then when we're done, we'll figure out something new. That's how you figure out how to paint a guitar with a robot, you know, or make a guitar, make a machine do something, or have some kind of technique that really helps. You have to fight through that. You have to struggle through it. It's not easy, especially with this, because there's no one in the outside world that can tell you how to do it. You have to figure out all on your own. I have a saying. I say, I don't mind making a mistake as long as I do it on purpose. And so there are a lot of times that we try things that we think might not work, but we're going to try them anyways because there might be some benefit to it. We try not, and if you do kind of screw up, you need to learn from it. But if you don't make mistakes, there's a lot of things you just do that are just like, that was stupid, why did I do that? And the best thing is don't defend it and don't get yourself, I've seen a lot of people just lose lose everything that was cool about them because they want to end up defending themselves all the time, you know? So if you do some work and it kind of like sucks, just admit it and move on. You know, learn from it and get better. Yeah, it's real beneficial. A lot of people look at me now and they say, well, you were so lucky that you figured out your dream when you were young. You know, they might be 50 years old and go, you know, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I think that everybody here has one or two times in their life where they know what they want to do. And the difference is whether you do it or not. I've heard it said that in 5 years you can become an expert at almost anything if you just really put your mind to it. And in a lifetime, you can become the expert of the world in anything if you just stick with it. So if you have something that you want to do, you know, everybody that you look at that's real successful at something, well, yeah, they were good at it, but they did it. There's a big difference between doing it and not. And sometimes you just have to pour yourself into it. Doesn't mean you don't have to be smart about it. You got to figure out how you're going to make money and pay the bills and that type of thing. And also, don't let other stupid mistakes get in your way of your dream. You know, but let's say you have your dream and then over on the side you're making like just bad life choices. If you do that, those life choices are going to suck you down. They're going to suck your dream out, and one day you'll wake up 20 years later and go, gosh, I wish I could have done that, but I spent so much time trying to keep my head above water. So that's, you know, follow that dream and then be smart. Don't suck. Just don't suck. You know, if you don't suck, it's way better, you know. Well, this is a nice place to work. First of all, I figure, hey, we're making guitars. We shouldn't screw that up because it should be, you know, it should be a happy business here. We make a happy product, but we try to just let people do their job here. I don't try and micromanage too much. I certainly have an opinion, and I like to direct the way things should go. But we're just here to serve our customers and to do a good job. We're real serious about our work, but we're not all that serious about ourselves. Cool. We take ourselves lightly. We take our work seriously. My dad was in the Navy. I lived in San Diego because my dad was a sailor. So I grew up.
So thanks to Bob and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Also, we got to thank Susie. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Susie.
Very welcome. We have a little gift party for you too. So.